Hello, we are going to solve three absolute value equations at this time. And the first one, we have two types of absolute value of x minus 7 plus 3 is equal to 11. The key to solving these problems properly is to isolate the absolute value. So as you know, you should subtract 3 from both sides, in which you'll have 2 times the absolute value of x minus 7 is equal to 8. It still is not isolated, so divide by 2, never distribute in the absolute value. You will get a wrong answer. At this point in time, we have the absolute value of x minus 7 is equal to 4. And as you recall, when we have 4 positive number, we'll end up with 2 solutions. Let's see if this works. X minus 7 could be equal to a positive 4 because when we take the absolute value of that, we'll equal 4. Or what's inside the absolute value could be equal to a negative 4. So we set up 2 equations and then solve for them independently. Obviously, we'll add 7 to both sides. And in this case, x is equal to 11. Here we'll add 7 also, and remember that 7 plus a negative 4 is equal to a positive 3. So we have 2 solutions. We can go back to the original equation and see if this works. When x is 11, we'd have 11 minus 7, which is 4. The absolute value of 4 is 4. We multiply it by 2, which is 8, and add 3. 8 plus 3 equals 11. That checks out. When x is equal to a positive 3, 3 minus 7 is a negative 4. But the absolute value of a negative 4 is positive 4. Times 2 is 8, plus 3 equals 11. Both of these are solutions. The second type of equation involves one solution, as we've talked about before. Again, always isolate the absolute value. In this case, we will subtract 5 from both sides. That leaves x plus 9. The absolute value of x plus 9 is equal to 0. Calculating this, x plus 9 would have to equal 0. And what value for x would make that equal to 0? We can find that by subtracting 9 from both sides, and x is equal to negative 9. Let's see if this is going to work. Go back to the original equation. 5 plus the absolute value of a negative 9 plus 9. Negative 9 plus 9 is 0. The absolute value of 0 is 0. Added to 5 equals 5. This works. So to recap, whenever we end up with an absolute value equaling 0, we will have one solution. Our final type of problem with absolute value occurs when we get a no solution. No number on the number line will fit this solution to make it a true situation. So as always, as we've talked about before, isolate the absolute value by subtracting 13 to each side. The absolute value of x minus 4 equals 7 minus 13 is a negative 6. As we've talked about in previous lessons, if you took the absolute value of a positive number, we'll never get negative 6. If we had the absolute value of a negative number, well, the absolute value of a negative number is also going to be positive. That will not equal a negative number. And finally, when this quantity is equal to 0, the absolute value of 0 is 0. 0 will never equal negative 6. Therefore, we have no solution. So whenever you have an absolute value equaling a negative number, no number on the entire number line will ever fit this solution to be true. Thank you for watching.